Hello, my name is Mark Miller. I'd like to welcome you to the Samurai Football Instructional Series. My intention is to introduce you to a methodology that is both unique and devastatingly effective. Samurai football is currently divided into 7 categories: principles, techniques, rules of engagement, strategic applications, drills and exercises, coaching points, and the mental edge.
Although most coaches and players recognize the importance of hand fighting in this collision sport, there have been very few improvements in grappling skills. The Samurai football system offers techniques and training that enables a player of any size and skill level to dominate his opponent. To truly dominate one's opponent, one must disrupt his spinal alignment and the center of gravity. This is primarily done through our hands and arms controlling our opponent's hands and arms. We use their upper limbs as conduits to their balance points and to their spine. Power, speed, size, athletic ability, and superior numbers are all temporarily neutralized when their balance is compromised. This is done by moving around strength and simultaneously controlling the humerus bone of the upper arm. When the opponent's skeleton locks up and he is led to a place of zero foundation, he must take a step to keep from falling as well as preserving his arm joints. We call this hook, lock, lead. Samurai football is a methodology that studies the structure and function of the human body on the gridiron. It has the potential to change the game, and those players, coaches, and programs that embrace this system now will have a decided advantage for the next few years. Any system that makes such a bold claim has to answer the challenges posed by the 3 main phases of the game. It should also provide the means of getting this information to be understood by coaches and ultimately the players. Samurai football does that, and as you'll see, the players themselves can pick the game up quickly. Here we see Andre Carter in the blue jersey at the top of the screen executing a samurai swim move. Please notice his hand placement and how the movement of his arm translates into freezing the feet of the blocker. When properly done, the player controls the humerus bone and steers the opponent into a place of no balance. Once an opponent is hooked, locked, and led, he can be moved in the direction of your choice. Samurai swim move has at least 5 applications: pass rush, defeating a run block, a receiver beating a jam, an O-lineman bypassing a chip block, and as you'll see later in the video, a ball carrier evading an arm tackle. Notice how in the Samurai swim version, we do not attack the shoulder. What we're doing is attacking the elbow and taking the elbow to a place we call the forward triangulation. That's a place where there is no balance. As I swim the arm through, this is much more, by the way, like a real swim, where water is taken and pulled around and then pushed around your body. See, I'm going to push his arm right past me, and it opens up the field. I can go right behind him, or I can go downfield in any direction I wish. He, though, has to go in a direction he doesn't want to go. Obviously, a wide receiver beating a jam will be pushing the man upfield as he goes downfield. Slow guy can beat a fast guy because this man takes 3 steps to get back into the play. Here again is Andre Carter at the top of the screen, this time in a white jersey. He's executing a pass rush technique to beat a run block and make the tackle that causes a fumble, leads to a Cal touchdown. You can see him hook the guy's arm with his inside right arm. He's hooking number 68, the right tackle for Washington. He's picking it up there. Notice how the tackle needs to throw his whole body out of the way to save his arm, allowing Andre Carter to make a huge play. You'll see it again here in this move. The player needed to move the same way. This is easily taught. This is first time clinic here. Next samurai move I want to talk about is my version of the rip move. Typically, rip moves are done at the opponent's armpit. Same place you'd put a pair of crutches. The problem with that, the reason why you put crutches at the armpit, it's the best place to support one's weight. Where you wouldn't put the crutch is at the elbow, because that off balances a person. You'll notice that with old people when they bend over far too much, their legs straighten out. And here's the angle that I must attack to do a more standard and basic rip move. My version, I attack the elbow and I hit it away. Notice too that I control the hand so that he cannot retract his hand, and so he can hit me again. In the more standard way of applying the technique, you can see the resistance as you meet going at that angle, and both the gentlemen I've tried this with. Whereas you go my angle, it's very simple. It requires very little strength. A small person can do this to a very large person. You can do it with people of varying sizes, strengths, and the movement is simple. And it has incredible results. Next is the hump move. Now, hump move is made famous by Reggie White. Here we see him working against Max Lane in that famous Super Bowl. And he picks up the elbow just how I would have taught him to do it. Notice where he gets the elbow. He gets the elbow right at what we call the medial epicondyle of the humerus bone. When you hook into that bone and spin it, the whole body is forced down, either forward or down to the ground. And you can see in this case where that person was dropped like a rock. It's a great counter. Notice how I pick up, I went for a rip move on one side, go to the other side, pick up the elbow, and do the samurai hump move. Again, I'm controlling the elbow, taking the elbow to, and then hooking into the sternum of the man, moving his sternum to a place we call the forward triangulation. By the way, this would all be explained to you should you hire me to come work with you. And here we have it on a skeleton. We talk about attacking and controlling the skeleton. What better way to show it? Right now, if I can get the skeleton to cooperate, I'm going to take the humerus bone and I'm going to move it in such a fashion that the epicondyle, the end of it at the elbow, rotates. And when it rotates on a real human being, it hooks into their shoulder girdle, then into their spine, and then it actually moves them to a place where there's no balance. So again, they have to take a step. This allows the person doing the hump move to have very little strength, use very little effort, and it works. Now, the samurai football methodology is not just on the defensive side of the ball. Here we see it as an offensive lineman. It works anywhere there is grappling. Okay, so here's what we're doing. We're taking of course he's coming from a standing position instead of out of a three-point stance, but we're just taking his weight and pushing it down to the ground. Our standard move that's quite different from what you normally see and what's normally taught. Instead of automatically grabbing the chest and the shoulder pads, we can displace the elbows out. That off balances the man. Here's the defenses against the standard swim move and the standard rip move. What you're going to notice in common on both sides of the ball is this emphasis on controlling the humerus bone. We can control it in any scenario. We're going to win. Okay. Again, you've seen it. Rip, swim. Just doesn't matter what he does, and I don't always have to use my hand. I could use my forearm, my elbow. I could even use my helmet if I wanted to control that arm that was trying to get past me. Another version, I can push the arms aside, get in tight. A lot of coaches like to do that. Have the guys in tight. He's staying in front of me, no chance of holding. If his arms come straight at me, I have other options. I can attack the outside of the arm. Again, that movement alone could be done for run blocking, could be done for pass pro, could also be done downfield blocking. You'll notice it completely disorients the man and breaks his balance and lifts his center of gravity. You talk about blowing a man up, it's real easy to do it with this torquing movement. That same technique we saw earlier using against run blocking or against pass blocking can now be used by an O lineman to do a reach block. Come out, hook them. It's very simple. Even if the man already has outside position, it'll still work. I mentioned earlier about utilizing the swim move to defeat arm tackles. Here we have an example of it. Look at that. He'll gets the humerus bone, and he'll swim the man's arm behind him and around him. Coaches constantly express a concern as what happens when this stuff is done in game situations, at game speeds. Even though we're watching this footage in slow motion, you can see that if you control the humerus bone at any level of the game, at any speed, you can control the man. You see it done repeatedly here from various angles. By the way, I have 25 different ways of breaking arm tackles. You're seeing just a few of these here. None of these players studied with me. They just threw their arms out there and look at the results. Imagine how much better their results would have been if they were to train this methodically, day in, day out, controlling the humerus bone, attacking, moving people to a place where there's no balance. The possibilities of samurai football and what it can do for your program are really endless. It's the perfect solution for salary cap concerns. Perfect solution for an injury-ridden team or a team with mediocre talent. One thing I would like to emphasize is that samurai football is fun. The kids just love it. They love the whole concept of secret techniques, and they love the fact that it works, and it's just something interesting. It's always a great way to pick up any program. Here we got the fumble stuff going. I have 30 ways of causing fumbles that can't be stopped. This is correct biomechanics. You can go anywhere with this. You'll see what happens when the ball is hit between the elbow and the rib cage in a backward direction. It just wreaks havoc on the ball carrier's ability to hold the ball. You'll see numerous clips there. I won't bore you with all of the ones I have collected. I've collected about 100. But notice the playoffs this year. You'll see many scenarios where the ball is pushed out in this fashion. In fact, it's even difficult to hold on to in the snow. The arm is real weak in this direction. This is how we should be attacking most of the fumbles. See, it's difficult to even hold on to a football. Again, elbow going away from the body, the ball going in a backward direction between the elbow and the rib cage. Fumble. Given the importance of turnovers in today's games, just this methodology and techniques alone is worth its weight in gold. You can show your players how to properly attack the arm and the football simultaneously while making their tackles, so that even things like one-handed tackles, one-handed fumbles will become part of their repertoire. They'll learn how to think about bodies in a different way. This is what the samurai football system offers you coaches. This is the next evolution in football. This is the cutting edge of gridiron excellence. For more information, you can contact Mark Miller at samuraifootball@yahoo.com, SAMURAI football@yahoo.com, or call me directly, Mark Miller, 925-899-6760. Thank you for your time and attention, and I hope to work with you in the future.